All right, so let's review the proportions quiz. Question number 1 says, which proportion is true? So in order to determine which proportion is true, you can cross multiply and see which one has the equivalent numbers. So 3 times 2 is 6, 12 times 1 is 12, so A is not your correct answer. Let's try B. 8 times 5 is 40, 4 times 12 is 48. Not the same number here, so that is not correct. Answer choice C. 9 times 4 gives you 36. 3 times 12 gives you 36. So that's the correct answer. Let's check D. 2 times 12 is 24. 9 times 4 is 36. So we did not get the same answer. So problem number 1, the answer should have been C. Number 2, a machine printed 63 booklets every 6 hours. So the two words we have here are booklets and hours. And it was 63 booklets for every 6 hours. Then it says, at this rate, which proportion could be used to determine X, the number of booklets that the machine can print in 9 hours. So we're looking for the number of booklets, and we know that the time frame is 9 hours. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply. So we're going to multiply the numbers that are across from each other and divide by the number that's left. So the way I have my kids think about this is, okay, 63 times 9, and then I'm going to divide by 6. So when I look at this one, I'm going to check and see, okay, 6 times 9, nope, that's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to multiply 63 times 9. This has 63 times 6, that's not it. 9 times 6, nope. This one says 63 times 9 divided by 6, which is exactly what we wanted to do. So the answer choice would be D. Number 3. Professor Smith has a total of 250 students, 3/5 of whom are female. If X represents the number of female students, which of the following could be used to find the value of X? So what we have here is we have students, so S for students, and F for female. So the problem here is the fraction that's throwing people off. So when you think about a fraction, remember it's part to whole. So in this case, we have 3/5. So we have the part that 3 are female, and 5 is our total number of students. So when I write that, those are the words that I'm using. So for female, I'm going to put 3. Well, let me try this again. So for students, I have 5. For female, I have 3. And then it told us that he had 250 students, and we're going to use X to find out how many females there would be. So we multiply the numbers that are across from each other. So 3 times 250, divide by the number that's left over, divide by 5. So we're multiplying 3 times 250, and then we're going to take all of that and divide by 5. So we're going to find which one does that. So this first proportion has 3 times 250 divided by 5, and that's exactly what we were looking for. But we can check the others. 5 times 250, nope. 2 times 250, nope. 3 times 5, absolutely not. So in this problem, the answer was A. Number 4. Super Mario is 48 centimeters tall. What is his approximate height in inches? 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So the words we have are inch and centimeters. So we know that he's 48 centimeters tall. And it says what is his approximate height in inches. So that's my X value. And then over here I have 1 inch, so I make sure that's lined up, and 2.54 centimeters. So that goes on the centimeter line. So next we just need to solve it. Multiply the numbers that are across from each other, divide by what's left over. And at this point, you just type it into your calculator. So we have 48 times 1, which I know is just 48. So I'm going to, if I need to type that in, I can type it in. 48 times 1 is 48. I go to my next line. I'm going to have 48 divided by 2.54. And the answer is 18.89. So the answer closest to that would be 18.9 right here. Number 5. The correct mixture of oil to gas in a lawnmower is half a pint of oil to 4.5 gallons of gas. How many pints of oil, so that's my X, are needed for 18 gallons of gas? So we're going to have a line for gas and a line for oil. So at first it says a half a pint of oil, so I'm going to change that 1/2 to 0.5. And it says 4.5 gallons of gas. So I know 4.5 is just 4.5. Next it says how many pints of oil. So for oil, I'm going to put X, and it has 18 gallons of gas. So I make sure that's on the correct line. And now I'm just going to multiply the numbers that are across and divide by the number that's left over. So I can clear the other problem out. And I have 18 times 0.5. That gives me 9. So now I'm going to type in 9 divided by 4.5. And the answer is 2. So the answer choice here would be D, 2 pints. Number 6. The average weight of a baby at birth is 7.5 pounds. What is the approximate weight in kilograms? If 1 kilogram is equal to 2.2 pounds. So we have K for kilograms, and I'm going to put P for pounds. So based on this information, I know that 1 kilogram is equal to 2.2 pounds. And it told me that the average baby is 7.5 pounds. So I go to the line that has pounds, and we're trying to determine what's the weight in kilograms. So now we multiply the numbers that are across and divide by what's left over. So we type it into our calculator. 7.5 times 1 is just 7.5. So now we have a new line. 7.5 divided by 2.2 gives us 3.409. So the answer closest to that is 3.4. All right, number 7. A train travels at an average speed of 65 miles per hour. How many hours, that's my X, will it take the train to travel 975 miles? So I have hours and miles. So what I'm going to put in here is 65 miles per hour. That means 1 hour. So 65 miles in 1 hour. And over here, I know that the mileage is 975, and I'm trying to figure out how long would that take. So once it's set up, multiply across, divide by the number that's left over. So I know that 975 times 1 is just 975. So all I'm going to type in is 975 divided by 65. And that gives me 15. So it would take 15 hours to go that far. Number 8. Natalia drives 30 miles to work every day. How many kilometers does she drive to work if 0.6 miles equals 1 kilometer? So here's what you can do. You can set your own up, or you can just pull this part of the table out. So I have 10 over 6 equals, instead of a question mark, I'm going to put X. And now I'm just going to solve. And we all know that once it's set up, you multiply the numbers that are across from each other and divide by what's left over. So we have 30 times 10. Which is 300. And I'm going to divide that by 6. And I get 50. So the answer here is 50. Number 9. In a random survey of 300 people about what kind of apples do they prefer, 178 said they like red apples. Based on these results, how many people out of 4,500 would say they prefer red apples? So that's my X value. So I have total people, and I have that like red apples. So I know that in the beginning it was 300 people total, and 178 of them said they like red apples. So now I go on to the other side and I'm trying to figure out how many would like red apples if there are 4,500 people. So now multiply across, divide by what's left over. So we have 4,500 times 178. Then we're going to take that number and divide it by 300. And we get 2,670, which is answer choice D. Number 10, the Park District is starting a new softball league. The table shows how many coaches will be needed, depending on how many players sign up. And if you look at it, the players are 16, 24, 32. Coaches are 4, 6, and 8. It says using proportional relationship in the table, how many coaches will be needed for 48 players. So I'm just going to add on another section here. I don't know the number of coaches, but I know that the players are 48. So what I would do is I would just pull out this part of the table, set it up as a proportion, and solve. Same thing we've been doing the entire quiz. Multiply the numbers that are across from each other, divide by the number that's left. So we type in 48 times 8. Then we take that number and we're going to divide it by 32. And we get 12. So the answer would be 12 coaches. You also could look at a pattern if you would like to. Here it's 4, 6, 8. You could guess that, I see that it's going up by the pattern, right? So you could look for the pattern here. Or you could use the words and set up your own. This is the best option right here.